bow down our heads for prayer. Lord, may your guidance and protection be with us, and thank you, Lord, for having this event and gathering. Amen.
Okay, good afternoon again. To give us insight regarding to our activity afternoon, may I request Ma'am Celeste Sayson, our math teacher.
Okay, good afternoon teachers, good afternoon students. This afternoon we will having a debate about this calculator. This calculator needed in solving algebra equation. Okay, algebra is one of the broad parts of math, together with the number theory, geometry, and analysis. In its most general form, algebra is the study of mathematical symbols and the rules for manipulating these symbols. Are calculators a necessary tool in solving algebra equation? So calculator math and non-calculator math is a tough thing to balance. So let's take a look at some of the pros and cons associated with using the popular electronic device in algebra. So in this debate, you will be able to express or use your effective questioning, reacting skills that will stimulate your thinking to generate new ideas and offer suggestions. And I expect to you that at the end of this debate, you will be able to write a critical reflection and reactions about what you have learned from this debate. And for you to be guided on how you will be rated, I will be reading to you the rubrics or criteria for this debate. Okay, so our criteria, one is respect for other team. So statements, body language, and responses should be respectful and in appropriate language. Second, information. Information presented in this debate should be clear, accurate, and thorough. Third, rebuttal. Counter arguments should be accurate, relevant, and strong. Fourth, use of facts. Every major point should be well supported with several relevant facts. And last, understanding of topic. The team should clearly understand the topic and presented the information convincingly. Okay, for each criteria, the highest is 5 points. So, a total score of 25 points. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. To witness the debate and also act as our judges this afternoon, may I present to you the following teacher. A Guro Scholar report and our science teacher at the same HR, Ma'am Jennifer Ramos. And our acting academic coordinator and the Filipino teacher, Ma'am Gloria Batucan. And also we have an English and theory teacher, Ma'am Jimali Vicino. Okay, now without so much ado, let us present to you the two teams, the proposition and the opposition team. In a proposition will be support the issue being proposed, and the opposition team will be opposed the position. For the team proposition, we have Agustin Oray, Christian Paul Dulay, Angelica Medrano, Lian Dave Munday, Rose Ann Eking, Keith Mercedes. For the opposition team, we have John Mark Soriano, Anessa Olarte, Eric Mercedes, Jisrael Gundang, Dea May Muraka, and Saida Kamay. And also Nisa May Kusan. We have also Antonio Kuma, who will act our timekeeper for this activity. Each team will have given us maximum of 1 minute to represent their ideas. Shall we start? Let's begin with our proposition team.
Good afternoon to everyone. Our Board of Judges, ma'am, good afternoon. Calculator is very important in algebra equation. Although it has a variable in equation, but we need to use calculator to make sure that our answer is correct. When you enter an equation into calculator, the calculator will begin to expanding or simplifying the problem. Then we'll attempt to solve the equation by using one or more following: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Taking the square root of each side, factoring and completing the squares. Calculator help us to find factor form of trinomials and help us to find the area between the graph and the x-axis. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. Is calculator needed in solving algebra equation? No. Without the calculator, we can answer it. We have our mind to understand and to solve it perfectly. Yes, I know that the calculator helps you the problem, to solve the problem easier and faster. But what is the purpose of our mind? So my answer is no. Thank you.
No. Is calculator needed in solving algebra equation? My answer is yes. Because calculator can help you easily solve the problem.
Is calculator needed in solving algebra equations? No, because calculator take away the necessity for a student to know the basics. Furthermore, a student who relies on the calculator for simple equations will not remember the solution after he writes it down. Relying on a calculator results in a student being unable to progress in math due to lack of fluency and recall of facts. Thank you.
Is calculator needed in solving algebraic equation? Yes, because calculator allows students to solve complicated problems quickly and in an efficient manner. And it can reduce the problem to simpler tasks and allow us to devote more time in understanding the problem. It also helps us to understand better the principles of mathematics.
Is calculator needed in solving algebra equation? calculator needed in solving algebra equations? No, there's, there's no need. You can solve it by using different methods and inspiring equation and finding the value of variable.
Is calculator needed solving algebra equation? Yes, for me, to solve algebra equation is one of important to us because other people is not good when it comes in writing. That's why calculator is so important to them. Thank you.
The question is calculator needed in solving algebra equation? For me, my answer is no, because each student can solve without using calculator, and also algebra equation has a lot of variables.
Is calculator needed in solving algebra equation? Yes, because using calculator makes the problem easier. Everyday life with calculators make possible to measure, count, define life in an easier and accurate manner.
Good afternoon. Is calculator needed in solving algebraic equation? No, for me, calculator is a stuff for lazy people. Now, algebra is delicate yet interesting lesson. But math won't give you a problem without formula, formula without solution, solution that is hard to get if you don't follow directions and instructions. I mean, with all the formula, directions, and instructions, you can easily solve the problem without the help of the said stuff. If you just use your coconut shell, I mean your brain if you have such, algebra is as easy as ABC for you.
Is calculator need in solving algebraic equations? Yes, because calculators help us to avoid from monotonous calculations and the same boring procedure. It's also help us to avoid boring work.
In algebra aspects, calculator is not needed, or should I say, it does not have to exist, because that thing is just used by those lazy people that is frightened to have wrong equations. I believe that there is no algebra equation cannot be solved by our own senses. And another, why we need to suffer studying those mathematical equations if we will just depend on the calculator.
Is calculator needed in solving algebra equation? Yes, because calculator is important to solve algebra. If the problem is thousands and hundreds, we need calculate to solve it.
Is calculator needed in solving algebra equation? No, why would you use calculator if spend whole day in studying and analyzing the equation?
Hello. And now, let me proceed with the rebuttal of opposing team.
My question to Mr. Eric Emerson. Without calculator and without calculating in scratch paper, how can you solve the problem if the value of a given variable in algebra equation is reach millions and billions? Thank you.
I don't think so that I can answer your question. Your question is inappropriate. Even the superhuman can solve or answer your question. In every question, there's the only way to solve algebra equation. Either using the calculator or by solving in scratch paper. And also you can get the final answer by just using only your eyes. My question to you. I thought your question is inappropriate. If ever I return a question to you, you can answer it by just using your eyes. I thought even you can answer your question. No one can get the final answer without using calculator or manual solving. And if ever I give you this question, how can you answer it without using calculator or manual solving?
Everyday life with math calculator make it possible to measure, count, and define life in a easier, accurate manner. Thank you.
My question for Mr. Christian Paul. When you're in a Math Summit is a summit for individuals who are capable of solving math with calculator out and brain in. When you're in a Math Summit and the presenter asks you to answer the question in your own way, and the only way to answer is to open up your mind. Would you use the calculator in that summit if the only way to answer is to use your mind? And how could you answer if you only depend on the calculator and its function?
Our topic is not about the math summit, it's all about algebraic equation.
But my question expands about the algebraic equation.
Math summit is not about algebraic equation.
Can you hear me? My question expands, talks about algebraic equation. In Math Summit, why would you ask a question in English form? Why would you use, it's a Math Summit, we're not asking a noun here, we're asking for algebraic equation.
Can you see it? It's all about algebraic equation, not math summit. No word, not math summit there.
That's why I'm asking you. I just stated it, but in my question, I stated algebraic equation. So I need your answer, not giving back to me my own question.
We proceed to the next question. Okay, stand up.
What if the students encounter a difficult problem and they need a calculator to solve? What will you do if you're that student that needed a calculator to solve their problem?
That is why we go to school every day. Going to school is to learn more about math and not using calculator.
Yes, we are going to school to learn. But what if the student didn't know the answer but he needed a calculator to solve it?
My answer is um, we can solve it because we have our greatest calculator. We have our teachers.
My question to Mr. Eric and Mrs. Yes. Yes, student answer the problem without calculator. But how you assure that your answer is correct without calculator?
Oh my God. I'm not saying that my answer is correct without using calculator. As what I have said, your question is very inappropriate. Even teachers, scientists, and also you can answer by just using your eyes. And you can answer without using calculator and manual solving.
Please don't withdraw.
Okay, let's proceed to another question.
For Miss Thea, how can you solve algebra equation without calculator and scratch?
I think you're degrading me in that kind of question. It's a cheap one. For you to know, I'm a student who don't rely on calculators and scratches because my mind will work for me and that stuff. Thank you. My question for Mr. Leon De Punday. Yeah, I understand that there's some that is not so good in solving algebra, but they don't need calculator. The only thing that they need is just to learn to solve it step by step. So why can you say that calculator is so important in algebra?
I repeat the question. Why can you say that calculator is important in algebra solving? Calculator is important in algebra solving because sometimes other people will solve that. Even me, I experienced that. And sometimes not all the answer you can get by solving. Sometimes we need a calculator to get the exact answer. Thank you.
You just say sometimes when you use calculator, the should I read it? Calculator is available in a variety of brands, and each brand and model requires a specific set of instructions. It is proven fact that many of us do not bother to read manual, and it gets lost. Although the instructions are simple, there are chances that people might make mistakes. A small mistake is sufficient to incorrect the answer. A pupil must have the ability of estimating the right answers, or the pupil would not recheck the problem. It is in the best interest of a student to repeat all the mathematical calculation once. Alternatively, if there is difference in answer between first and second calculation, the pupil must repeat the operations again. So it is stated here that even calculators might have a problem in their function.
Time.
Okay, thank you students for your ideas. So now let me ask you a question. What have you learned from this activity? Who can answer? Okay, John Mark, what have you learned from this debate? For our topic that is calculator needed in solving algebra equation.
I have we have learned that many ways to solve it. We have our own way to solve with or without the calculator.
To solve, you have your own ways to solve the problem or the algebra equation with or without a calculator. Okay, from the proposition team, what can you say? What have you learned from this activity? Okay, Lian Day.
This debate, I learned that calculator is important to solve other problems and the important of our mind because calculator at our mind is so important to be a student. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for the both teams. So now, okay, calculators allow students access the mathematical concepts and experiences from which they were previously limited with only paper and pencil. Because calculators now make possible mathematical exploration, experimentation, and enhancement of learning mathematical concepts. The reality, however, is that calculators are valuable educational tools that allow students to reach a higher level of mathematical proofs and understanding. But there are chances that students might make mistakes. A small mistake is sufficient to incorrect the answer. So there are many scenarios where a student can make mistakes, such as pressing the wrong buttons, forgetting to change the mode because in using a scientific calculator, specifically in solving a algebra equation using a calculator, you have to change the mode first because you cannot answer it by just using an ordinary calculator. So there is really a chance that a student might make a mistake by pressing the incorrect buttons or the wrong buttons and forgetting to change the mode. And of course, there are also times that incorrect rounding the values and wrong methods of evaluating the brackets. Because in using calculator, you really have to press all of the variables, the symbols like the brackets. You have to press it using a calculator if you want to use the calculator in solving an algebra equation. So if it is not really guaranteed that advanced students or those who are excelling students would not make mistakes, there are really strong chances that an advanced student is not able to solve the brackets problem correctly. That the use of handheld device would only reduce their mental strength of solving the problem by their own. So it is ideal not to really use the strongest and best device on the planet Earth. And that is, what is the strongest device on the planet Earth? That is our human brain. Okay, so thank you so much again for your for the exchanging of ideas. So now, can I ask comment from one of our judges? So may I request Ma'am Gemaline Vicino to give comment on this activity.
So my comment is pangkalahatan na ito ha. So let's proceed first to the negative. On the negative, for the both teams, include also the accuracy of the topic. And then do not jump on the other topic or questions without answering the first one. Okay? Tapusin muna masagot yung isang topic at hindi mahang before kayo magbigay, before throwing another questions to the opposite team. And then, the positive, okay, both of you, They showed you the good interaction between your opposite teams. Ayun. And then, Ma'am Gloria.
Okay, so now, Ma'am Gloria Abatukan will announce the winner or for the best debater for each team, for the proposition and for the opposition team.
Okay, so good afternoon. First, I would like to congratulate all of you for doing your best and trying your best to share and present your idea. So, this event will not end without acknowledging our best debater. So, for the proposition team, we decided to choose Leon Dave Munday in a reason that he did not leave the idea without answering the questions from the opposite team. So let's clap our hands for Leon Dave. And for the opposition team, we choose Jisrael Gundang. For the reason that Jisrael have the accuracy and strong stance of information in answering the questions from the opposite team also. So both of you are considered as the best debater for this event. So thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So the award will be followed. Okay, again, thank you so much students and to my co-teachers for the support to make this debate successful. Thank you so much and good afternoon.